Canada, a name synonymous with vast landscapes and breathtaking beauty, sprawls across the northern portion of North America. It is the world's second-largest country, boasting a landmass that stretches from the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific Ocean. Its sheer size is both awe-inspiring and a defining characteristic of its national identity. Imagine a land where towering mountains pierce the sky, their snow-capped peaks reflected in pristine glacial lakes. Picture endless forests of spruce and fir, their deep green canopy stretching as far as the eye can see. Canada's vastness is not merely a geographical fact, it is woven into the fabric of its history, culture, and the Canadian psyche. This immense scale has shaped the nation's development, influencing everything from its transportation networks to its sense of national unity. The challenges and opportunities presented by such a vast territory have fostered a spirit of resilience and innovation among Canadians. From the earliest Indigenous peoples who navigated its waterways to the modern-day explorers who venture into its remote corners, Canadians have always had a unique relationship with their land. This vastness, however, also brings with it a sparse population, unevenly distributed across the country. The majority of Canadians cluster along the southern border, drawn by milder climates and economic opportunities. This pattern of settlement has had a profound impact on Canada's social and political landscape. Before we dive in, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more amazing content. Long before the arrival of Europeans, Canada was home to a diverse array of Indigenous peoples. These First Nations, Inuit and Métis communities had inhabited the land for millennia, developing rich cultures and traditions deeply intertwined with the natural world. Their history stretches back thousands of years, marked by remarkable adaptation to a variety of environments, from the Arctic tundra to the Pacific coast. Archaeological evidence suggests that the first humans arrived in Canada via the Bering Land Bridge, an ancient landmass that once connected Asia and North America. These early inhabitants were skilled hunters and gatherers, relying on their knowledge of the land and its resources for survival. Over time, they established complex societies, each with its own unique language, spiritual beliefs, and social structures. The Inuit, for example, thrived in the harsh Arctic regions, developing ingenious techniques for hunting marine mammals and constructing shelters from snow and ice. In the Pacific Northwest, First Nations communities relied on the abundance of salmon and other marine life, building elaborate wooden structures and creating stunning works of art that reflected their deep connection to the ocean. The arrival of Europeans in the 15th and 16th centuries marked a turning point in the history of Canada's Indigenous peoples. While some welcomed the newcomers, others viewed them with suspicion and hostility. The encounter between these two worlds would have far-reaching consequences, shaping the course of Canadian history for centuries to come. The first Europeans to set foot on Canadian soil were not the well-known explorers of the late 15th and 16th centuries, but Viking adventurers who sailed from Greenland around the year 1000 AD. Led by Leif Erikson, these Norse seafarers established a short-lived settlement at L'Anse aux Meadows in Newfoundland, a testament to their remarkable seafaring abilities. However, their presence in North America remained largely unknown to the rest of Europe and had little lasting impact on the continent's history. It was not until the late 15th century that European exploration of Canada began in earnest, driven by a thirst for new lands, riches, and trade routes to the east. In 1497, John Cabot, an Italian explorer sailing under the English flag, landed on the coast of Newfoundland, claiming the land for King Henry VII. Cabot's voyage marked the beginning of England's claim to North America and paved the way for further exploration and colonization. A few years later, in 1534, Jacques Cartier, a French explorer, embarked on a series of voyages that took him deep into the Gulf of St. Lawrence. Cartier explored the St. Lawrence River, claiming the land for France and establishing the basis for French colonization of the region. His interactions with the indigenous peoples he encountered, particularly the Iroquois, would have a lasting impact on the relationship between Europeans and First Nations in Canada. These early encounters between Europeans and indigenous peoples were often marked by a mixture of curiosity, misunderstanding, and conflict. European diseases decimated indigenous populations, while trade and intermarriage led to cultural exchange and the emergence of new communities. The arrival of Europeans marked the beginning of a new era in Canada, one that would see the country transformed by colonization, conflict, and the eventual emergence of a new nation. The arrival of Europeans in Canada ignited a centuries-long struggle for control of the continent's vast resources and strategic waterways. France and England, the two dominant colonial powers, established competing claims to the land, leading to a series of wars and alliances that shaped the destiny of North America. The fur trade, a lucrative enterprise fueled by European demand for beaver pelts, became a major point of contention, drawing both French and English traders deeper into the interior and intensifying competition for indigenous allies. One of the most pivotal conflicts in Canadian history was the Seven Years' War, a global struggle between European powers that had profound consequences for North America. In North America, the war was fought between British and French forces, each aided by indigenous allies. The conflict culminated in the decisive British victory at the Battle of the Plains of Abraham in 1759, which led to the fall of Quebec City, the heart of New France. The Treaty of Paris in 1763 formally ended the war, ceding Canada to Great Britain and marking the beginning of British dominance in North America. The British victory had far-reaching consequences for Canada's Indigenous peoples, who found themselves increasingly marginalized as European settlement expanded westward. The legacy of the Seven Years' War continues to shape Canadian society today, influencing relations between English and French Canadians and shaping the country's political and cultural landscape. Section 5. Forging a Nation, the Birth of Canada. The American Revolution, spanning from 1775 to 1783, had a profound impact on the development of Canada. As the 13 American colonies fought for independence from Great Britain, Canada became a refuge for those loyal to the British Crown. Thousands of United Empire Loyalists, as they were known, fled north, seeking to remain within the British Empire. Their arrival significantly altered the demographics and political landscape of British North America, strengthening ties to Britain and laying the groundwork for the eventual emergence of Canada as a nation. In the aftermath of the American Revolution, British North America was divided into several colonies, each with its own distinct identity and interests. However, the threat of American expansion, coupled with internal divisions and economic challenges, led to growing calls for greater unity. In 1867, after years of debate and negotiation, the British North America Act was passed by the British Parliament, uniting the provinces of Nova Scotia, New Brunswick and Canada, which was then divided into Ontario and Quebec, into a single dominion called Canada. This momentous event, known as Confederation, marked the birth of Canada as a self-governing nation within the British Empire. Confederation was a compromise, balancing the desire for greater unity with the need to preserve regional identities and interests. It laid the foundation for Canada's unique form of federalism, in which power is divided between the federal government and the provinces. The newly formed Dominion of Canada faced numerous challenges, including the need to build a transcontinental railroad, incorporate vast western territories, and reconcile the aspirations of its diverse population. However, it also possessed a strong sense of purpose, driven by the vision of creating a prosperous and independent nation. Section 6. Westward Expansion, Connecting Coast to Coast. Following Confederation, Canada embarked on an ambitious westward expansion, driven by a desire to secure its vast territory, exploit its natural resources, and connect the Atlantic and Pacific coasts. The construction of the Canadian Pacific Railway, completed in 1885, was a monumental achievement that played a pivotal role in this expansion. The CPR, spanning over 3,000 miles, linked eastern Canada to British Columbia, opening up the west to settlement and facilitating the transportation of goods and resources. The westward expansion, however, came at a significant cost to Canada's Indigenous peoples. The government's policy of assimilation, aimed at absorbing Indigenous populations into Canadian society, led to the establishment of residential schools, where Indigenous children were forcibly removed from their families and stripped of their language and culture. The legacy of residential schools continues to haunt Canada today, a stark reminder of the dark side of the country's colonial past. As Canada expanded westward, it incorporated new provinces and territories, each with its own unique history and character. Manitoba joined Confederation in 1870, followed by British Columbia in 1871, Prince Edward Island in 1873, Alberta and Saskatchewan in 1905, and Newfoundland and Labrador in 1949. Nunavut, Canada's newest territory, was created in 1999 as a result of a land claim agreement with the Inuit. Section 7. The Canadian Mosaic, a Tapestry of Cultures. Throughout its history, Canada has been shaped by waves of immigration that have transformed it into a diverse and multicultural society. From the early European settlers to more recent arrivals from Asia, Africa, and the Caribbean, immigrants have made invaluable contributions to Canadian society, enriching its cultural fabric and contributing to its economic growth. Unlike the United States, which often emphasizes assimilation into a single melting pot, Canada has embraced a more pluralistic approach, celebrating its diversity and promoting multiculturalism as a core value. This Canadian mosaic, as it is often called, is reflected in the country's official bilingualism, English and French, and its commitment to fostering inclusivity and respect for all cultures. Canada's multicultural policies have not been without their challenges, as debates over accommodation, integration, and national identity continue to shape public discourse. However, the country's commitment to diversity remains a defining feature of its national identity. Canada's multiculturalism is evident in its vibrant cities, where neighborhoods bustle with a kaleidoscope of languages, cuisines, and traditions. From the bustling Chinatowns of Vancouver and Toronto, to the Little Italies of Montreal and Calgary, Canadian cities offer a glimpse into the rich cultural tapestry of the nation. This diversity is not limited to urban centers, it is also increasingly evident in smaller towns and rural communities across the country. Section 8. Challenges of Vastness, Population and Distribution. Canada's vastness, while a source of national pride and natural beauty, also presents unique challenges. The country's population, currently around 40 million, is relatively small compared to its immense size. Moreover, the population is unevenly distributed, with the majority concentrated in urban centers and along the southern border, where the climate is milder and economic opportunities are more abundant. This uneven distribution of population has significant implications for Canada's social and economic development. It creates challenges for infrastructure development, service delivery, and regional economic diversification. The sparsely populated North, rich in natural resources, faces unique challenges related to transportation, communication, and access to essential services. Bridging the gap between Canada's prosperous South and its underdeveloped North remains an ongoing challenge for policymakers. Furthermore, Canada's aging population and low birth rate pose long-term challenges for the country's economic growth and sustainability. The government has implemented various policies to address these challenges, including encouraging immigration and promoting family-friendly policies. Attracting and retaining skilled immigrants is seen as crucial to addressing labor shortages and ensuring continued economic growth. Section 9. Canada, Today and Tomorrow. As Canada navigates the complexities of the 21st century, it faces both opportunities and challenges. Climate change poses a significant threat to Canada's environment and economy, particularly in the Arctic region, which is warming at twice the global average rate. The country is also grappling with issues related to reconciliation with its Indigenous peoples, social inequality, and its place in an increasingly interconnected world. Despite these challenges, Canada remains a beacon of peace, prosperity, and opportunity. Its strong democratic institutions, commitment to human rights, and high standard of living make it an attractive destination for immigrants and a respected member of the international community. Canada continues to play an active role on the world stage, promoting multilateralism, peacekeeping, and sustainable development. As a nation founded on the principles of peace, order, and good government, Canada is well positioned to navigate the challenges and opportunities of the 21st century. Its ability to adapt to change, embrace diversity, and foster innovation will be crucial to its continued success. Canada's story is still being written, and its future holds immense promise. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.